Okay, good morning. The time is 6:45 a.m. The date is Monday, August 4th, 2025. I'm literally going to try to cram this into 13 minutes. So let's go, okay? Explosive weapon device, bathroom, floor 2. My bathroom is very present, it's very obvious, it's very distinguishably in the areas that I have priorly testified to. The stench level is stench level 2 in a range from 1 through 5. 1 through 5 is the stench level range that is pretty standard here, although it can become so intense that there are moments where I'm speechless about how strong these manufactured explosive weapons can get, which I have witnessed time and time again. Each one has a different stench of chemical, etc., components that are used in the manufacturing of these explosive weapons. Okay, so that's in the bathroom floor too. All right, there have been dead bodies protocol that have been stashed and stuffed all over 1509 S Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. These dead bodies have been stashed and stuffed in the staircase coming from the unit 1507 S Street Northwest, and these dead bodies have been stashed and stuffed in the base of staircase floor 2 going down to floor 1, the area I have priorly testified to. That also is being stashed and stuffed from the unit 1507 S Street Northwest. There are persistent dead bodies that are being stashed and stuffed in the bathroom of floor 2. And this isn't the last days and days and days, but the last 48 hours. I'm just going to report what I can in 13 minutes, what I'm allowed to report. So stashed and stuffed bathroom areas I have priorly testified to. It's just heinous, horrendous fucking dead bodies. And dead bodies are also manifesting themselves in the area that I'm still to this date and time forbidden from filming, forbidden from identifying verbally, making statements of where it comes from, but it's always there. It's the same spot. Dead bodies are erupting there, so they're using the same areas to stash and stuff their human remains and use. Smell it. Okay, so bringing up this subject, last night while I was sleeping, I went to bed around 9:30. I kept getting woken up through the, I figure, I didn't look at the clock, but I figure it was 2 in the morning to 4 in the morning. I kept getting awoken by the stench of dead bodies. It would affect my dream state, and I would start to dream that I was smelling like cat poop or something really, really awful. It was so intense and so strong. You can feel the stench burning your nostrils. It wasn't quite the same sensation as when you're literally breathing in the chemical explosive devices that do have an actual burning effect on your nostril passage. But it's just so strong and so disgusting. I'll never forget the smell of their decomposing human remains. Okay, so that kept waking me up. And then once I was so awoken by this stench manifesting itself underneath my cot, I would come out of my dream state and realize it's not cat shit or cat poop I'm smelling because sound asleep or I'm REM. It would wake me up and I would smell it and I would toss and turn and roll over and breathe through my mouth. And this kept happening repeatedly. And I'd fall back to sleep, go back into a deep sleep REM state, back to the cat shit dream, back to waking up, back to tossing and turning. So back to breathing through my mouth. So they did this routine underneath my floor, underneath my cot, in that area where they do all kinds of violent crime. There's so much violent crime I've witnessed down there. Oh my God, I'll never forget it. It would take way more than 13 minutes, way more, to testify to every last thing I've witnessed underneath these floors. Okay, moving on. So the stench of the human remains stopped just billowing up from floor 1, where they have this compartment area that they do their violent terrorism in. Around 4, and I was able to get a handful of more REM And I woke up around dawn, and I did my routine. I went to make coffee, just my routine. I was glad I could go in there to the extra room, which I'm trying to cram in because it's been serious business with my mobility in here. I don't know if I can cram all this in 13 minutes. Okay, I'm getting to the most important things. And at that point in time, as usual, all this chemical weapons gas started just erupting in here. And yesterday I took a couple naps, like a few hours at a time. I'm just physically exhausted. So I've been getting sleep. I'm grateful for that. But you wake up to chemical weapons gas, and you wake up grabbing at your stomach. I mean, I have described in testimony enough times the physical fucking pain and suffering these gases cause. So the chemical weapons gas, I'm just forbidden from ever talking about anymore. But it's like prevalent. You can't get away from this crap. It's just whenever they want to use it, they're just gassing people. Okay, but I do not believe it's at me, because the effects are so extreme when it's at you, but it's bad enough to be anywhere near it. Okay, I keep stressing that anywhere near it is, oh God. Okay, so back to this morning. So after the routine, I'm waiting for my coffee to percolate. I'm sitting in my chair, and then just all this gas, all this chemical weapons warfare. And yeah, all the symptoms of buckling over, and we know that. So I didn't have to race, though. I was really grateful about that. It's far enough distance for me. And then this is how I was able to tell who was gassed. So the gas erupted after this too, after what I'm about to say. But this is how I could tell. So there was a break in the chemical weapons warfare that was going on, what I believe, beneath me somewhere. Don't ask me. That's for the military who flies, and they do more than fly, folks. But that's not my department. So it was what I could determine coming from away from me, and I'm surmising below me, away and beneath. I don't really know it. It's not above me. We can exclude that. But anyways, moving on. So I hear a tub. Now, I've reported this constant, and this is what they do with what I strongly believe they're human remains, because the stench always comes with it. But it's not always the case. The tubs can be for the biological weapons, which I am a direct witness to, and concretely can with definity say that is a correct statement. And the tubs can be their liquid explosive weapons. So it's a few different varieties of terrorism they engage in with these tubs that I'm a witness to, that I hear. But this morning, I believe it was the human remains, considering what was waking me up all night. Okay, so I'm sitting in my chair. I'm facing the unit 1507. I'm sitting in my chair facing that direction. And so to my right, below me, there's a loud tub. It goes clunk, 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 clunk. It's a loud, obvious freaking tub. I've testified and described these very tubs going on underneath me and going on all the time upstairs when the two terrorists here were still alive and running around barefoot every 5 minutes up and down the stairs, engaged in massive terrorism in front of my face. These tubs and everything these terrorists did, I contacted a handful of federal law alphabet departments. I made written statements, and I also tried to call, and I contacted, this is before I was aware of how involved the DCPD was. I contacted and made about 50 I'm talking at least 50 different written, typed statements about these terrorist tubs, all of it. And that's on top of the investigation unit. I contacted there was two. I contacted and did a written type long email to the DCPD, and also the just plain simple 911 calls. No matter what I did, I could never get any law enforcement to do anything about what was happening. And at the time I was contacting the U.S. federal law enforcement and the local precinct police here, that's when the homicides, or what, maybe I was mistaken, and it was actually the beginning of armed conflict in here. Because that's when I started to hear the hookers had already been killed. And I wasn't mentioning that in my testimonies on purpose because it's so serious, the murders. I figured if you just say the obvious fucking terrorism, this shit will get the police here. Girl, do it. I was so proud of myself. I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to get them here. I took criminal justice. This will definitely get the attention of law enforcement. I am literally witnessing this. And so I write a statement. I put my name behind it. I'm just trying to get them to come do their job. I'm not going to get in their way, etc., etc. It never fucking happened. Okay, and it's regarding some of these tubs, which I heard this morning. It never fucking happened. But about that time, right, when I was documenting this, the time on the calendar date, is when it started to get so out of control in here with bodies just crashing fucking down in the hallway, upstairs, in the bathroom, upstairs, downstairs. I heard a body crash down on floor two different times. I just kept hearing bodies go down. I hear them go down on the stairs, mid-stairs, from floor 1 to floor 2. You don't know how many people I've heard just go down in here, okay? So it was not to my understanding, obviously, I think I was in the beginning of armed conflict at that point. It wasn't these terrorists going crazy, killing everybody in here. But I couldn't quite differentiate that because it was too much in the beginning of it, okay? But at that point, it became completely impossible for me to do much. I mean, it was so fucking deadly in here, and all you smelled was dead bodies and these chemical stenches, and all you heard was what I've described and other things I can testify to, and all you heard was tubs. And so I would hear these metal tubs always going down, and a lot of times they would go down with a body going down, crash, a body down, a tub with it, boom, boom, boom. And I just heard that again today downstairs. Okay, I heard a loud tub, boom, boom, boom. I didn't hear a thump. I didn't hear a body, but I don't know how this combat is being taken down. It could be more of a quiet combat. You got me. I don't know, but I know I heard the tub go tumbling down. So there's another tub. And then after that, more gas attack. Okay. And I'm sitting here, I'm buckled over. We know what happens to me. I'm buckled over. Oh, it's fucking gas. And then the gas stopped, and like, fuck, great way to have your coffee, you know? They do this all the time. I'm trying to have my fucking coffee in the morning. It's something definitely about me moving around, and figured that much out. Okay, I'm out of time, but this is the main things. Also, with my last few seconds here of testimony, I have not bathed in 3 days. I have not washed my hair in 5 days. The bathtub is packed with every single dish. There's nothing that I have been able to wash. I can't run the water because of the explosive weapons, and I have not been able to come out of my room, not hardly even off my chair. I was able to come out and make 2 bowls of minestrone. I lived on my minestrone soup. Talk about surviving. Thank God I can make that. And that was it. And I'll talk about my survival story and what they've been putting me through in this fucking place later. Goodbye.